Shut up and sit down.
Boom.
Shaka
Welcome, Trinity. Hey, what's up, Trinity? Live
Welcome.
the streets, certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado here with you. This is a version of the Couch Live for Dope and Dharma. And we are Dope and Dharma. I'm the street certified dope doctor, like I said. And of course, that's Trinity Phillips, the Dharma guy. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man?
Dude, we haven't done a show in so very long, a live show.
Yeah.
So sorry, WOKB. Tell everybody where they're listening to us right now. Of course, we're on WOKB radio here in Central Florida area. And how else can they watch or listen?
Yeah, 1680 WOKB on the dial, as you would say.
That's
or
right.
100.7 FM, if FM is more your speed
Right.
there. And actually, didn't they just win an award, I think?
Yeah.
they just,
WOKB winning all kinds of awards.
Yeah, like the number one, show or the number one studio and stuff. Like, bravo, guys!
Congratulations, WOKB.
Not
that we got a piece of it.
Yeah, right. However, if you're not in the Central Florida area and you don't have the privilege of tuning in on your dial to those ones,
Right.
then you can do so. You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch under
Yeah.
Dope and Dharma. Or if you want to listen to any of our podcast materials, you can do so on any of your major podcasting platforms under Dope and Dharma.
Right on. And of
Yeah,
course,
man.
Glenn Allgood needs to let us feel what that trophy feels like. What does it feel like? It should be like
Right.
the hockey trophy, right? The
Yeah.
Stanley Cup. Everybody gets it
Right.
for a little bit.
Don't they all get to take it home for a night or something?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Let me hang out with it.
Yeah, let's have it for all I got is the golf trophy.
That's right. No, but I saw them posting the Allgood
Yeah.
brothers. They were posting a whole bunch of stuff, and they
Well,
got all
every
sorts of
year.
awards.
Every year,
Yeah.
WOKB wins awards, man. It's
Yeah.
good to be on this station, man. It's a great station. So
We're part
if
of a
you're ever in
winning
the Central
team.
Florida area, that's right. And anyway, so we haven't done the show in a while. I apologize.
We haven't even seen each other in a while. Like, I don't even think I've seen you in like a year, have I? Like,
I don't
even know.
think physically we've been in the same room.
Yeah, I think we see each other like once a year at the golf tournament.
maybe.
Like,
Yeah, I
that's
think
our new normal.
Yeah. Well, you told me that this last past golf tournament
Mhm.
that we haven't been in the same room. This whole COVID, ever since COVID hit,
Changed
it's
everything.
just changed the whole dynamic of
Changed
the world.
everything. Some better, some not so much.
Right. My wallet says not better because it's like I spend more on everything. Everything
Yeah.
costs more. But anyway, that's a whole other show. We'll talk about that kind of show when we're complaining about the powers that be.
Call it PBL, poor broken lonely.
Yeah, that's right. But today, this is the Couch Live, and as the Couch Live has been since 1999, just in case you're wondering, we've been talking about addiction and recovery, and your own personal health, family health, and how to just exist in a happier, safer place in life. Since, like I said, since 1999, it's been a long time. Been here on the air in Central Florida area, so thank you very much for that, Trinity. But I was, how on Facebook, when sometimes you get like this memories thing, and it says,
Yes.
this is a memory. All right, so I love looking at that every once in a while.
It gets me sometimes, especially when it shows my daughter when she was like little or something.
Yeah,
it gets
yeah, I love it. And so one of the memories this week was a quote, and Marissa from New York had posted it in 2011. So how many
Wow.
years ago is that?
me. 12.
So 12
Soon to be
years.
13, I guess.
All right. So 12 years ago, Marissa posted this quote that something we said on the air.
Really?
Yeah.
Me
so
or
she
we
had-
or you?
yeah, I said it. So I had said motivation is like deodorant. You need to reapply daily.
Okay.
And she had posted that, and I was like, I like that, because at first when I'm reading it, I didn't know I said it. When I'm first reading it, I'm going, "Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, motivation is like deodorant. You need to reapply daily." I like that. It's catchy. And then it said, the Dope Doctor,
Right on.
2011, and I'm like, whoa. And I don't remember what I said yesterday, much less in 2011.
Hey, Leo, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, Leo in St. Louis? How you doing? But so I liked it, and I was like, you know what? I need to remember that, because I really do believe in that. So today I wanted to talk about motivation because of that. I was inspired by.
You were motivated.
I was motivated, yeah, to talk about motivation from your post, Marissa, whenever you watch this show or listen or something like that. Isn't that weird? You post something in 2011 and you actually motivate somebody or encourage somebody, inspire somebody in 2023, because that's exactly what happened. I
Yeah,
like
man.
what you said back then, and I wanted to say it now. So motivation is one of those things, Trinity, because have you noticed? I don't think a lot of people really even know what it really means, to be honest with you, because motivation, I think, gets confused with so many other words. I think
Okay.
I think we use it interchangeably with other words like inspiration, like passion, like
Ooh,
goals,
yeah, I can
goal
see that.
setting. There's a lot of what would you call them? Are those synonyms, Trinity?
Yeah, yeah.
So first, I want to know what it is. So what is it, Mr. Dharma guy?
Ooh.
When you say motivation, like what do you first think of to explain it to somebody? Because it's absolutely necessary to succeed, right? I think we could agree on
Um,
that, right?
so I
What
would say it's absolutely necessary to maintain success. Like you can get lucky with an opportunity, but in order to keep it or maintain it, you have to have motivation.
okay, so
Um,
what is motivation?
uh, yeah, I mean, the first thing that popped in my head, so I'm just gonna go with my gut here. Drive, like what drives you.
Okay.
Whatever the driving factor is. I think motivation looks different for different people. But at the end of the day, if I had to sum it up, it would be whatever drives you to do whatever it is that you're trying to do.
So what's the difference between that and passion then? If passion
Um,
is the fuel,
well,
then what
I
is
would
motivation?
um, pour the fuel in, I guess. Right. I mean, if we're sticking with that analogy,
Well,
I mean,
I mean,
to me, I think passion is something that you like, something you enjoy, something you're proud of, something that you gravitate towards.
uh-huh.
The motivation is what makes you go towards it, right? Like I
Right.
can be passionate about something, but if I'm not motivated, I'm not going to do anything with it other than say, yeah, I like it.
Look at
So,
look at look at Leo's hands right
Leo from Facebook's got the happy ending. Um,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe. Um,
Maybe.
so yeah,
Um,
I would say, you know, there's passion and then there's your passion, right? Like passion
right.
is something you care deeply about.
Right.
Your passion would be something that you care deeply about.
Right.
But to me, I think the motivation is the motivation is the fuel of what gets you to
Really?
that. Yeah,
So you don't think passion is the fuel, you think motivation is the fuel.
yeah, because like for instance, right, just shooting off the cuff here, like I for a very large period of my life, I was very passionate about motorcycles
Right.
and stunt riding and racing, right?
Right.
And I do still have a passion for it. But I'm just not motivated to do it. I don't feel that drive to get out there and really try to make it happen, right? Or even something that's more reasonable here with even like health and fitness, like going to the gym and stuff.
Right.
I still have a passion for it, but other factors have demotivated me from going to do those
Oh,
things. But I'm
yeah.
still passionate about it. I still pay attention. I still look into things. I still
Right.
keep up with my education. But as far as my motivation to get in there, it's just not existent right now.
See, and I guess I look at it like passion is the fuel and motivation is the process. Would I be
Okay.
wrong to look at motivation like the process? Because you have to have, like, you could be you could be passionate about something, but you could absolutely be going around in circles, chasing your
Right.
tail.
Sure.
You're
Sure.
passionate, but you don't have a process or a goal to get. Like, and I look at motivation like the ability to see the goal and create a process to get there. Because you
Okay.
have to be motivated. Each little thing that you do, you have to be motivated to do that piece of the process in order to get the goal.
Okay.
That
Yeah. Yeah,
what
I
does
can see
Leo
that.
think? What does
I think
Leo
I
think?
look at it slightly different, but I can see that because to me,
Mhm.
the motivation part is why you set the goal in the first place. Right. Leo from Facebook said motivation has to have a beginning and end result, but you have to have passion to be motivated.
I agree.
Yeah, I would definitely think that they're
I agree
intertwined.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think they're related. I just look at like passion as the actual fuel and the motivation like the path itself. That
Right.
you gotta go down that path, like you gotta walk down that path, and you gotta be motivated to get to that end. Because passion, you don't need an end. You could just, like you said, you have a
Right.
passion of motorcycles. But okay, but because you don't want to ride one, there's no
Right.
motivation to actually do anything with
Sure.
it, or like you said, to work out. Things can get in the way because that process is not currently in place. But that process of, look, you gotta get up, suit up, show up, and just do the deal. Right? Those are things that you have to be motivated for. You got to be motivated to want to get that goal that you set. Because if you don't set a goal, then no matter what you believe in, no matter what you want, no matter what you think you want, you're not going to get it. I mean, Trinity, you and I both know there's a lot of people out there that say that there's something they want, right?
Sure.
And it's like, but are you really making the necessary changes in your life to get what you want, or are you just expecting it to fall out of the sky and just hit you in the face?
Right.
You know, what are you doing about it?
Yeah, and that to me is where I so that's where the perspective I take when I think of motivation is just that, like your currency, right? Like, what is it that means it, like, in order for me to get fired up about something and start to really kind of zero in and focus on it and try to and come up with that plan and start really doing it, I got to first be motivated. If it's not something that like, if I'm not motivated by it, if I'm not seeing the benefit for me, if I'm not seeing the itch that it's scratching, then yeah, I'll give it the old college try. If I'm helping out a friend, or I'll help out. I'll give you my intellect. But if you're wanting my passion, if you're wanting my dedication, if you're wanting my, like, just to be immersed by it, then I got to have my motivation. I got to have that payoff. I got to have that reward, whatever it might be. For everybody's different. Much in the same way when you're trying to motivate other human beings, typically you got to find what their currency is. You got to find out what it is that costs something. Like my son, for instance, if I want him to do something, he really loves his PlayStation. That's his currency.
Right.
And so if I ask him to do something, I would love it if his desire to do something came from wanting to make me love him and proud of him and things. And I'm sure on some level that's there, but on a superficial level, no. What motivates him is, hey, do this or I'm going to take this away. Well, he really wants to play his PlayStation, so he's going to go ahead and do whatever I ask him to do. So it's not that he's passionate about doing that. It's just his currency, his motivation is, I want this, so I'm going to go do this. And so for me, that's how I see motivation is, what is it? The motivation is, I want this. It's whatever this is. And be it tangible, physical things like money, stuff, superficial things, or it's the love and attention of certain people. If it's the feeling you get when you're successful, the dopamine rush, or whatever it is, that's what's motivating you. Right. Okay, as an example, I used to have, so back when I was doing the training stuff full time, right? That's all I was doing. One of my things to get people fired up about working out and taking care of themselves was, what is your motivation? Like, why are you doing this? I had to know their why, because if I didn't know their why, it was very difficult for me to help motivate them, because I didn't know what to tell them, because each person's kind of different. And what I found is most people either didn't know or weren't comfortable being honest with what their actual motivation was. Like they said, I would ask them, why do you want to do this? And oftentimes I would get answers that sounded great. Like, oh, that's such a good reason, things like, oh, like, my
things
kid
that feel good.
Yeah, like my kid's gonna graduate, and I want to make sure I'm there. I want to lose weight, so I can see them walk down the aisle. Or, my health is getting down, so I kind of want to make sure I lower my blood. All these great answers that sound phenomenal. And the problem I would have with them is, okay, well, your kid isn't 6. Like, your kid is like 14, 15, 16. So what happened for the last 16 years? Like, you didn't care about your kid? Like, I don't think that's really what it is. Your health, you didn't just wake up overnight and your health deteriorated. That's been going on for quite some time now. So, like, are those motivating factors? Maybe, but that's not your actual currency. And the funny thing is 9 times out of 10, and that's not even an exaggeration, when I would finally kind of sit them down and have a real honest discussion with them, almost always the real motivation was they wanted to look better naked, or some variation thereof. Really, it just, they wanted to look better. They wanted to feel better about themselves. They wanted the accolades, the attention. They wanted the dopamine rush of, I like the way I feel when I look at myself.
Well, who doesn't want to look better?
But they were all embarrassed to say that, I guess, or didn't know that. So they came up with all these other, feel good motivations, which are great. But if that's not actually your motivation, that's why you haven't been doing it.
I think I have I think I see where our differences on this, Charity. Sure. And you tagged my response with you using why as motivation, and here is my response. The why is your passion. The want is your motivation. It's what do you want is what you really do. Your why is your passion. I want to be there for my kids. Yeah, that you're passionate about your family, but if you don't have the motivation, meaning the want to be there, the want to do what's necessary to be there, because it's the process. I think motivation, I think, is you have to want to do the things necessary to get your why, to fulfill your why.
Sure.
And so I think that's that disconnect. I think we feel like we have this higher sense of purpose in our life that we're just naturally going down. But what we forget is that we're animals.
Yes.
We forget that we're animals and we're in a survival mode most of the time. And so if we're not going for what we want sometimes, then we're just going to do our basics of what we need. Just like if we're just doing what we want, sometimes we forget what we need. I think both those two things need to align. They both need to be in balance, right? You have to fully understand what you need to exist, to survive, I guess to not be so distracted, right?
Right.
And then you have to know what you want. And those are like the extras. That's like the syrup on the pancakes. That's the butter on the pancakes. That's the mayonnaise on the sandwich. That's the ketchup on the hot dog, or mustard for some of you, because that's like a big debate, apparently.
Really?
That's the pepperoni on a pizza. You have to have what you want and what you need. So substance and flavor, right? So the sustenance is your purpose, right? And your flavor is your motivation. What flavor do you want, man? What do you want it to really look like? What do you want to be doing all day?
Right.
Because if you're one of these people and you're just playing catch, who's throwing to you? Nobody. Just go outside and just sit outside with your catcher's mitt and just wait for somebody to throw success your way. Then you just stay out there, and back when I was not such a good guy, Trinity, I did this as a joke a few times, and it wasn't so nice to people.
It was like last week, or
for those of you that, I used to serve people bad things, right? So, and I'm talking as a teenager. Don't come knocking on my door, Mr. Law Enforcement, because we're open about this.
Statute limitations is
Mayor
up
Demings knows exactly what I used to do. So when I would serve people, I would be in a whole other state, Trinity. And I remember telling people back in the day when people used to wait at payphones. So that tells you how back it was in the 80s, right? So they would page me, right? I'm in a whole other state.
Page you. Wow.
And I'll say, I'll be at the 7-Eleven in 5 minutes. You better be there. I would make people wait there just because I didn't serve little crap. And I didn't like that you actually think I'm going to serve you little weight. I'm not a little weight server. So you go ahead and sit there and stay at that 7-Eleven and I'll be there. And I wasn't even there. So in other words, they had something that motivated them. But what motivated me was just making fun, just having enjoyment. And sometimes our motivation is just to exist in a playful nature, but you're not getting anywhere. Yeah, sure. Because there was no passion attached to it. That said, look, what makes me feel better as a human is to serve others. And I didn't mean serve others in that way, because now I serve others in a very different way. It's what do you need me to be in your life to help you be a better human, to help our community be a better community, to help us thrive long past our existence, right? Sure. So once you get a higher sense of passion and a higher sense of goal other than just making it to the next day, you'll achieve it instead of just sitting somewhere waiting for someone to pass you the ball. You're going to wait forever. Nobody's throwing you the ball, man. Everybody wants the ball. Everybody wants the ball. So they're not throwing you the ball. You got to make me want to throw the ball at you. You got to show me that by throwing the ball to you, it's going to make me feel good when you throw it back to me. Right?
Right.
Because that's the only reason you play catch outside. Remember that? You throw to them, but it wasn't you throw to them and then they go home with it. I hated that kid.
Take my ball.
It's my ball. Yeah. No, it's you throw the ball to them, and then you did your little juke, your little move, and then they threw it to you, and you had a good catch. And then so now you go, oh, now you go. Now I'm going to feel good by throwing it differently this time, and then I'm going to do a different route, and you're going to throw it back to me. That's the enjoyment. We get most enjoyment when we're giving and we're receiving, and they're in line together. So you have to do the same thing with yourself. How are you feeding your passion by your motivation? How is your motivation feeding your passion? Like, what are you motivated to do today? If you're motivated to just sit down all day and complain about your existence, well then, How far did you get today? Did you enjoy the travel? Because it doesn't look like you made it anywhere. As a matter of fact, we all know that your days are getting shorter and shorter, right? You're getting less and less summers in your life. You're less and less winters. Like this winter is here. We're getting less and less of them, right? I don't know how many more Christmases I have in my life, but why would I waste the whole December complaining about December? And that's what we get. We get in that rut. We get in that rut, just come like, oh, I hate Christmas. I hate all this Christmas music. I hate all this happiness. And it's like, okay, you should just feel blessed that you're experiencing another one. Because every Christmas can be your last, man. And there's somebody out there that wishes they had their loved one this Christmas. You do realize that for somebody, this is their first Christmas without, and it makes it extra difficult. So while you're sitting there complaining about how everybody's happy in Christmas music, somebody's not so happy because it's the first one they're having to experience without that person that used to hang the lights, without that person that used to pick out the tree, without that person that used to always wrap the gifts, without the person that used to make that special little something that you always love eating or drinking. I mean, we're an animal that's a pack animal, and we're getting to a place, Trinity, and maybe, we've talked about this a lot, especially on our other show, on our political show. We're getting to a point where we're an animal of one rather than an animal of many.
Yeah.
Right. We're so focused on me, I, my feelings, my desires, what I think about me, what I think about myself, and what my truth. And we're forgetting, no, we're most happiest when we're united. Love, when we're loving each other, when we're accepting each other, when we feel accepted by others, when we feel loved by others, when we feel a part of others. Not when you're all by yourself. Yeah. Alone is something that we try is a luxury. Alone is something that you can embrace as a luxury because you're so busy serving other people. And so you get that alone time and you go, finally, I'm alone for a few minutes. Let me just have, like when my house is empty, right? And it's like, everybody's gone. I just needed that moment, right? But that's because it's a luxury.
Yeah.
It's not a lifestyle. It's a luxury. Because if it was a lifestyle, that's a whole other problem indeed.
Yeah. Well, if you join that too much, then some would argue that there's something wrong there.
Right.
Like that's not how we're wired.
Right. So how do we use our motivation then, Trinity? That's the next thing. How do we use it? How do we use the motivation? Yeah, that we have. So if we have, like you brought up working out, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to be a lot of people's New Year's resolution. So let's talk about it.
Yes. That's
a lot of people are going to say, I'm going to get fit So because by summer, I got to be able to take my shirt off by summer and not feel, insecure about it.
Sure.
Right. So how do we use the motivation to make it work?
That's a good question, man. I think I'm probably going to jump the gun here a little bit, and if I do, just reel me back in. But you kind of touched on it. I think of one of the overarching kind of really important things here.
Okay.
You didn't say the word, but you talked about it, and that's gratitude. Like I think gratitude is such an underrated tool for so many things in life, but especially when it comes to motivation, because like you were talking about being angry or upset about, people listening to Christmas music and so happy and all this other stuff. Right. But they should be happy that they have another one, with themselves. And that's a gratitude, right? It's hard to find motivation, right? And I guess I'm going to be using my definition of motivation slightly here, but it's hard to find motivation when all you're focusing on is everything you don't like. When the only thing you see in front of you is problems with everything, right? Every solution has a problem, right? Then good luck getting motivated. Because even if you start to get motivated, you're going to pick it apart and find out all the reasons why it's going to fail and it's not going to work. And so you're going to demotivate yourself pretty quickly. And so I think focusing on the things that are going right, focusing on the things that you do like, because we all have them, right? And that's the problem, the first world problems, right? Like we take so much. I remember, so you brought up payphones and pagers and stuff, right?
Okay.
So I remember there was a time where if I wanted to know something, if there's something I didn't know, if I needed an answer to a question, if there's something I was like, I need to figure this out, I had to get in the car and I had to drive down to the library, I had to pull out the Dewey Decimal System. I had to look at the car. I had to, go through this whole thing. First of all, I had to know the book that I could get it from.
Right.
And then if I knew the book and the author,
Right.
10 minutes of searching through these cards and stuff and finding, okay, here it is. Then I have to go to the section and I have to go make sure, hopefully somebody put it back where it's supposed to be, and look through all these the Dewey Decimal System, the numbers, to find out, well, oh, there it is. Pull the book out and either sit down and read it, or check it out, go home, sit down and make time to actually read it all and hope that I got the right book and the right answers are in there. Right. That was painstaking. It took forever. There was no instant gratification. Right. But then fast forward a long time, and myself, along with many other people I know, if I pull out my phone out of my pocket and the website that I go to takes more than 2 seconds to load, I'm irritated.
I'm out.
It's like, dude, why is this taking so long?
Right.
And it took like 3 or 4 seconds, right? 3 or 4 seconds is just too long. It's unacceptable.
Right.
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 And so it's like, if all you focus on is the negative and the things that you don't like and the things that didn't meet your expectations,
right.
then you're going to have just this long, pissy life. Like, my son sometimes, matter of fact, just this morning, I was taking him to school and he says, I can already tell this is not going to be a good day or whatever. I was like, well, you're probably right. I was like, yeah, you're right. With that attitude, I promise you're right. It's going to turn out to be a bad day. Yeah. It's going to be the exact same day you would have had otherwise, but your perspective is that it's going to be bad. So you're going to be finding the bad all day. And it's going to just compound on top of one another. And then, yeah, it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. So to me, I think gratitude is kind of where it should start. Is being grateful for the things that are around you, grateful for the opportunities, grateful for the people. Even if you have terrible things around you, which we all do, you also have good things. It's just how you look at it. And the more you notice the good things, you start to get that spark, man. You start to get that feeling of like, man, yeah, this is kind of cool. You have a more optimistic, more positive outlook. And it sounds cliche, but it's true, man. Like, it feeds into one another. And then to me, I think that is what makes it easier to use that motivation or apply it or even get it in the first place. Is this gratitude, this feeling of optimism and positivity.
Okay. I love gratitude. That's, one of my favorite words. I love being grateful. I love practicing gratitude. I love appreciation. Good night, brother. So Leo has to take his wife to dinner. Yeah, you better do that. That's a lot more important.
Yes.
To me, how to use it is you have to have trust and you have to have a belief. So you have to believe that your efforts are going to have the reward that you're seeking. You're going to have to trust in the process of doing each step necessary to get that reward. See, the difference between somebody who ends up having muscles like you, Trinity, and somebody like me is I must not truly trust the process. I intellectually get it. If I go to the gym every day, I'm going to have those muscles, but I'm not internally motivated by that, right? So I'm not passionate about looks. I'm not motivated by that as being my number one. I know that's not my number one skill. I know that's not an easy road for me. I know that my body type, it takes longer. It will take longer, and it'll take a whole different set of circumstances to achieve what in my head I would want anyway. So I'm motivated in a different direction. So I don't trust that you and I doing the exact same exercises are going to give me the goal that I want. And I don't have the belief that you and I doing the same exercises are going to give me that. But I do believe in other things, and I do have trust in other things. It's like investing. It's like the business stuff that I do. I do trust that a nickel can turn into a dime, and the dime can turn into a quarter, and the quarter can turn into $1. But I have a belief in that you have to be understanding of how to use it and to apply it and to invest it. And I do believe that if you stay persistent long enough without taking too great of a risk, but do low risk, but decent enough risk where it could be painful enough to get you up for the day, but not so painful that you have problems in your relationship, I can get there. Does that make sense? So,
Sure.
So I make decisions based on that all day long. How I invest my time, what I do with that time, which allows me then to do free labor and service the community. Because as I do free labor and service the community and service, whoever needs help, that in turn feeds my businesses that also serve the community. Does that make sense? So
Sure.
I have found a way to have trust that if I do good for other people, things are just going to work out. If I have a belief system, and I believe that if you do well in this community and you provide for this community and you be there for other people and you answer that phone and you help them get to where they got to get to, other things will just work out, because the things that I do tend to revolve around that anyway. That's why the only business card I carry are business cards that aren't my main business income. I don't even carry a business card of my own main business income, because that's not how the process works in what I do. But for those of you listening right now, do you trust that if you go to work every day and you do what's necessary and you put, 10% aside every paycheck, do you not trust that at the end of your working career that you will have a savings account that you will be very happy with? Because you must not. You actually might fight yourself, and you might think to yourself, well, I need that 10% right now. I would save that 10% if I could afford that 10%, but I need that 10% right now. And then what I would do is I would help you understand, well, do you spend it in other ways? Let's think about that 10%. You might spend it on coffee. You might spend it on cigarettes. You might spend it on alcohol. You might spend it in other ways. You might have bought just a little bit more expensive food than you would have bought if you didn't have that 10%. See, because what I've learned is this: no matter how much money I make, Trinity, I'll spend it anyway. And so it doesn't matter. When I had just $10,000,
No money, no problem.
Yeah, if I had just had $10,000 coming in, that's the budget I'm going to have. If I have $15,000 coming in, that's the budget I'm going to have. It really has never mattered, because, well, except when I had zero. Then those AM/PM burgers,
Yeah.
I've had that too. I've had the top ramen and the AM/PM burgers. But moving forward, it never mattered. Once I reached a certain level, it just changed how expensive everything else was. That's all. Instead of that shirt, you're buying that shirt. Instead of that car, you're buying that car. Instead of that house, you're buying that house. Instead of these bills, you have those bills. It's normal. But you still have to trust that the labor I do, the work that I put into this, the initiative I put forward, and you have to have the belief that if I keep doing this, I'm going to achieve that goal. Because that's how you can get sobriety. You don't get sobriety over thinking, I'm going to be sober the rest of my life. No, you have to trust that if you're sober today, then you'll learn what you need to do in this 124-hour period. It's going to help you get that 48. And then if you do that for 48 hours, you're going to learn and do things within that 48 hours that are going to help you get that 72 hours. And then if you do that for 72, and then on and on and on. So next thing you know, you turn around, like I turn around and go, wow, it was 1988 when I last used cocaine. I can't believe it was 1988 when I last used cocaine. Because if you would have asked me back in 1988 if I was going to be able to exist this many years without partying, I would have said, there ain't no darn way. No darn way. I'm going to use again.
Yeah, I think people struggle with that right now.
Right. So I absolutely think that how you use motivation is you have to trust that what you do right now matters. And that's why the foundation is called the Now Matters More Foundation. What you do right now matters. What you think right now matters. What you feel right now matters. But over feelings and overthinking is doing. What you do right now matters. If you do the next right thing, you will get the goal that you want. I promise you. You think I graduated college because I'm smarter? No. I graduated college because I just did every day the unnecessary, ridiculous crap. In my mind, I'm thinking, of course it was necessary, but in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm doing unnecessary, ridiculous, working man stuff. You know what I mean? The working man's a sucker. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, why am I doing this? I can make more on the street than all these professors make combined. And yet, I just had to trust that process. If I do this, if I do this, if I do this, This is the goal that I want. It's going to be sustainable money. The feds can't come get this money. Cops can't come get this money. I'll be a professional. And when I'm a professional, they say that'll improve my self-esteem. Well, let's see. We'll see what that means. And look, and over time, it's just been there. You think people have served in the military for 25 years because they have more ability than you? No, they served because they had a greater purpose in their head. They knew that if I did that, I'm going to get paid for life. You know, I'm going to do this occupation. I'm going to get us to a certain rank, and then I'm going to get 50% of my income for the rest of my life. And I'm going to retire in my 40s. Yeah, it's exactly what happens. Some people look at military and they just think, oh, there's no way I'm going to let someone else tell me what to do. Yeah, you do that for 20 years. But after that, you get 50% of your income for the rest of your life if you make it through. Yeah. And hopefully you don't get deployed 20 times like they do to some people, unfortunately. Ridiculous.
I think people struggle with that.
That's my answer to how you use it. Which part?
I'm just looking at like my kids. I look at society. Right. Like I'm kind of I look at what's happening.
Yeah.
In addition, just the people who reach out to us on a daily basis. Right. And yeah, it appears to me that we as a society, we struggle with anything that isn't instant right now.
Yes, I agree.
Right? Like we want everything right now. Like I said earlier, like the website didn't load in 3 seconds, and that's a problem, right? Mm-hmm. And so this notion, even with beard, do you know how many? Oh my god, do you know how many people come to me? And I've shaved it, I don't know, a couple months ago. It's already kind of grown back here,
right?
Do you know how many people come to me and they're like, "Oh man, I wish I could do this. I wish I could grow that." Blah blah blah. And I'm like,
just don't shave.
Yeah, dude. You
think I did this? This is
yeah.
You think I'm sitting here doing something to make my beard grow?
Dude, but they do. They all think that this product or this pill, and I'm like, no, man, you just do nothing. Just let it grow. Let it grow. Let it grow.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get through the awkward. You got to get through the awkward.
And that's what it is they want it now. They want to be clean shaven or patchy or whatever and wake up tomorrow and have this.
Right.
And it's like, it's not going to happen in the fitness world, right?
Right.
I used to have so many clients that would spend 20 years plus putting on weight.
Right.
2 pounds here, 5 pounds here, 15, 20 pounds a year. They would put it on. 5, 6, 7 years down the road, they've got like 80, 90 pounds to lose.
Right.
And then they would go to the gym and they would want to work out for like, a couple weeks. And they're like, well, I don't see anything happening. I was like, dude, it took you 20 years to put it on. It's not going to come off tomorrow. Like it's that's just not how it happens.
Right.
But we collectively as a society, we're so inundated with instant results with everything in our lives. Like I remember there was a time where I even had to wait to watch my show, right? Like, do you remember when we had TVs where it's like, hey,
had to wait
8 o'clock
next week?
Yeah, we're like 8 o'clock, the show's going to be on. You better be there. And then when a commercial would happen, you had to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when the commercial would come back on, if you were in the kitchen or something, you had to beeline it.
You had to hurry up. Yeah, you hurry up.
You had to time your
break was a quick bathroom break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and now, dude, I'm upset if like they release it and the whole season isn't there. Like I want to watch it now. I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
This week to week thing. What
total
is that?
Sense of control. I control the world now.
Yes. Commercial skip, like I don't need to watch commercial. Even our music, right? We used to have to like listen to the radio. Now I can just stream it instantly, like
whatever song I want, anytime I want.
And so I think that while those things are nice and convenient, it's got us stuck in this mindset where everything should be now, and if it's not now, it's not working and it's broken.
Yeah,
like like the beard thing, right? Like if I decided I'm going to grow a beard and I go to bed tomorrow and I wake up and it's not fully grown, then it's not working. It's broken. Like, no, it's not. It's working as intended, guys. Like that's a feature. That's not a bug.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. Like with in the addiction world, right? Like the same thing. You know how many people that, you've been doing it longer, but how many people I would talk to when they would first come into the rehab in my groups and stuff, and like the same thing. Oh, I'm gonna be it forever. I'm like, man, just work today. Like they would look at you with 30 years and like, I want that. I was like, well, great, but you got to get one first, And so I think that's a real problem we struggle with. Is I think collectively we want everything right now.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard. You said trust. It's very hard to trust because there's really no other area in our life where we have to trust. Like we do it and it happens. And so we're not trained to think, hey, just stick with the program, man. Stay with the process. Keep going. It'll happen. And it's true. It does. Right. But we ignore those.
Yeah.
You know, like my kids who hate school, right? It's like, well, dude, you've already been in school for like 10 years, man. You know, like you hated school when you first started, but look how many years you've got under your belt already. You know, you
Yeah.
recognize it.
Yeah.
But we don't think that way because
Yeah.
everything else is so instant. So I really do think that that's a struggle for a lot of people, the trust.
I agree with you, but the trust is absolutely necessary. It's not just
Yeah.
necessary in relationships with other people; it's necessary with yourself. You know, because when I finally cut the top of my head, I let the top of my hair grow. It grew 23 inches. 23 inches. That didn't happen overnight.
No.
And it went through some. You got to go through the ugly stages. You got to go through the stages where you look goofy. You know, where you don't know what to do with it because you're growing it, right? And on my driver's license is the ugliest, nastiest picture because it was an awkward stage of growth where it's not doing anything that I want it to do. And we were by the DMV, and I needed a new driver's license, and they said, you got to do a new picture now. I'm like, oh. And I had a hat on. So I wasn't even prepared. And I took the hat off, and that is my picture for the last, I don't know how many years.
Nice.
It's ridiculous. Nice. I hate it. Every time I show it, I get all kinds of different reactions from it, like Tiny Tim kind of comments. It's a Danny DeVito / Tiny Tim look. It's horrible
better than it's better than the ones that I get.
But you see what
Mine,
I'm saying?
I had no gray hair,
right,
no nothing.
Right.
They look at me like, whoa.
Yeah, so you just have to go through the ugly stages. And in the beard, you just have to get through the itchy stage where it's itchy. Oh, it's annoying. Oh, it's bothering me. You got to get past that. But once you get past it, oh, it's smooth sailing on the other side. So I tell people, I say, you just got to graduate college, dude. Once you have the paper, at least now you have that. And then now you realize, all right, now what? You know, it's not like there's like, oh, you got a piece of paper, everybody's just going to throw money at you. No, but at least you got that part done. You know, like if you're out there and you're in your first year of law school, I see this a lot with first year law students. After their first year of law school, they want to quit. They're questioning, I don't think I can do this. Yeah, they're doing that to you on purpose. Nursing students, same thing. They're trying to get you to quit. Yeah, they're doing that on purpose. They're trying to weed out who should not be a nurse. They're trying to weed out who should not be an attorney. They're trying to weed out those who don't have that total drive. Because when you're working as an attorney and when you're working as a nurse, it's a high stress, better be ready, better perform kind of job. And there's no half stepping. So yeah, those kind of occupations are that important to the rest of us. So they try to weed you out in the educational process. And they do a really good job. There's a lot of people listening right now that started law school, didn't finish. Started nursing school, didn't finish. They did that to you on purpose. It just wasn't your thing. I get it. But you know, and I know, that if you would have stuck it out and just done the deal every day and just trusted that, yeah, you are smart enough. Yes, you can. Yeah, look at the idiots that have the degree. If they can have it, you absolutely can have it. There are so many idiots with degrees that you know. And you know, somebody right now is interpreting, what, did you just call nurses idiots? No, I'm saying there's a lot of people that have degrees that are idiots. There's a lot of people out there that have success that are idiots. They just trusted their process a lot more than you did. That's all. They just trusted the process and did it over and over again. Anyway, final thing is the how. And I think you hit on it with the how, Trinity. The how is you got to have the gratitude for the entire deal.
That's what I told you. I thought I was jumping the gun there a little bit.
You were absolutely, in my estimation, you were. How you keep motivation is you have to be grateful for what you got out of the situation. You got to appreciate the whole thing. You know, one of my favorite parts of my whole drive to get what I got right now was the hard work that it took to get here. When I look back and think of the extra long hours that I put in, the 6 days a week of seeing patients from day until nighttime, I look at them very fondly. I know what it took to get to the point where my name meant something, my profession meant something, because I didn't have it then. I had to build it, had to create it, had to start from scratch. How could anyone want to listen to what I got to say in the first place? You know, I did that. And it's because I absolutely appreciate all the hard work. I absolutely appreciate the people that were involved. I absolutely am grateful for everyone that ever gave me an opportunity or gave me the ability to be part of their lives. that we shared together in that room to be, communicating with each other. I appreciate everyone that ever said, "Hey, you're my counselor. I trust in what you have to say." That I totally appreciate each and every one of you. I totally am so grateful to each and every one of you that ever allowed me to be part of your family's life to help you get through a tough situation. And because of that, that's how I feel I keep it. And that's how I feel you keep staying motivated, is you got to be grateful that everything you did up to this point worked.
Yeah, gratitude is definitely that's a tough one, man, because it's so easy and it feels so good to just focus on everything you don't have.
Right.
It's like it just, yeah, man, it feels so good, right?
Mhm.
And I know that I'm saying that facetiously, right? Like
Right.
it's a terrible feeling, but
Right.
it's like it's like that old hat, man. It just fits
Right.
perfectly, right? It's
Right.
dirty, it's filthy, it's gross, but it fits every
Mhm.
time. So being pissy and negative and focusing on all the things in your day that didn't go the way you wanted, it's such an easy thing to do, man. We're so good at it too. Like we're all gold medalists. We're all fantastic at that. So it's very difficult and it's unnatural to focus on what you do have and what you have, like, because we take it for granted, right? And the problem is you usually take it for granted until it's gone, right? There's these quotes and stuff I see oftentimes people posting, and it's interesting, and that is, there was a time where you would have killed to be where you're at right now,
For sure.
right? And it's a very interesting quote because when you think about it, right, like if you're in one of those situations where I'll do the health and fitness part, right? If you're in a situation where you feel like, hey, man, I'm not where I want to be, and you're picking out your flaws and you're looking in the mirror and judging everything about it, there might have been a time where you would have loved to look in the mirror and see what you see right now, especially if you're on a journey. If you're on a journey 40 pounds ago,
Right.
like 40 pounds ago, you probably would have been like, dude, I'll do anything just to lose 5. And
Right.
here you are 40 pounds less, and you're looking at it and you're it's
One.
easy to judge it. Yeah.
Dude,
It's easy to judge it.
my wife loses like 1 pound, like when she went on this thing, and she's done it twice now. I've watched her do it twice, and you've seen her. She's not even large, but she gets on these little things in her head where she feels she's 20 pounds too heavy, right?
Yeah.
And she will do these sacrifices, and dude, I can't do what she does. She's so good at it. But she'll go, I lost a pound, and I'll be like, a pound, like wow. And she sees my face and she goes, that's a lot. I go, babe, I'm not saying it's not a lot. I'm just like, I love how happy you are with a pound. Like it'll be a pound every like 2 or 3 days or 4 days or a week.
Right.
But that's how she loses the 20, because she's grateful for the pound that she lost that week.
Well, you're supposed to lose on average about 2 pounds a week if you're in a weight loss journey. This notion of
amazing.
Like 30 pounds in 4 days.
Phenomenal. Again.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, if I would have her sense of motivation for that, I'd have the 6-pack.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's my thing is just, I would just caution people, man.
Right.
Don't get in that trap.
Right.
It feels good, man. And before you know it, you're knee deep in it. Right. The good news, though, is you can stop right now, right? Like, that's the good news. Is it just as fast as you got into it, you can get out of it. Right. It doesn't matter what you were just doing 5 minutes ago, all day yesterday. It doesn't matter. Right now is what matters. And right now, you can choose to look for the positive. Now, I hate look for the positive, but right now you can choose to be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
And that's a choice you can make every day. So,
you know what I'm going to add to this is that, it just hit me. We forget we're hunters, Trinity. We forget, number one, that we're animals, and we forget that we're hunters, gatherers. We forget that we're hunters and gatherers. What is a hunter able to do that many of us just can't do? Because we go out there hunting for money, right? Mm-hmm. We chase money all day. They hunt. And what they do is they sit patiently, like in a blind. They just sit patiently near on a tree, in their little stand, their little tree stand, and just sit there. Why? Because they have faith that if I sit here long enough, the animal's going to come by, and then I just got to be prepared for that moment.
Yep.
They are 100% prepared for like days. Patient for days. And then what are they after they make the kill?
Grateful.
They're grateful, and they thank the animal. They thank the animal for giving their life to them. I know some of you that don't understand hunting or don't know it. Look, I'm not a hunter. I'm not really into it. I'm not into it at all, actually. But what I'm saying is I don't look down on them because they are grateful for the animal they kill. I eat burgers all day long, and I've never thanked the burger I ate. I never go, oh, thank you, burger.
Yeah.
I eat pork. I love pork. I never said thank you, pig. These hunters, when they kill, they thank the animal. They look the animal directly to the animal. They touch the animal and say, "Thank you very much for your sacrifice for me." They are more grateful for the kill and more grateful for what they got. Be the hunter, people. Be patient and be grateful for what you got instead of just throwing it all around. Anyway, that's it. Anyway, how can they follow us, come back to us, give us ideas? What, Trinity?
Yeah, well, as always, you can check us out on our social media. He is at the Dope Doctor. I am at the Dharma Guy. Together, we are at Dope and Dharma. That's probably the best way to follow us and keep updated with what we're doing.
Perfect. Thanks to everybody at WOKB. Time to turn it over back to them.
The award-winning
WOKB. That's right. And the All Good Brothers are going to play some music probably right now, right? So, all right, Shaw, take it away, Shaw, over at WOKB. From all of us here on Dope and Dharma. Adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.